Hey, I'm Adam Thompson. How's work going? Let me guess. Busy. Chaotic. Lots of pressure. Well, there's a reason for that and a way out of it, and it comes from an unlikely source. Let's get into it. Have you seen the film Interstellar? That's where
Matthew McConaughey stars as Matthew McConaughey, barely pretending to be a guy named Coop, struggling against the words trying to escape from his mouth.
We farmers, we sit here every year when the rains fail and we say, next year.
Yes, Wooderson himself can give us some advice on the situation. Let's have a look.
Sometimes you go through the day or days and you're so busy, everything you have to do, stress comes when those responsibilities feel like they're stacked vertically on our shoulders. And there's a proverbial weight on our shoulders. When I go break a sweat, all of a sudden, all those things that were stacked vertically on my shoulders, my responsibilities, lay down and they're laterally out in front of me. So there's no more weight on my shoulder. And I find that I get those things done better and with more enjoyment if I just go, oh, there they are in front of you. Just handle one, then hop to the next one and handle that. Then hop to the next one and handle that.
Brilliant, isn't it? When the work piles up vertically, we feel the proverbial weight, as opposed to laying it out laterally. Does anyone say the word laterally with a nicer accent than Matthew McConaughey?
Laterally.
When I work with clients, when we look at the amount of work they need to get done in a year, the amount of work is reasonable. But what always happens at your workplace? We get ourselves into the end of March, we realize there's 3 months left in the year, and all the work isn't going to get done. And we go into the hell, we go into the panic stations, and we somehow pull it off. What's going on here is the way we're thinking about work and the way we're organizing it. And why do we do this? Because in an effort to get things going, we get things started. And let's look at what this causes. We're going to have 3 projects. Those of you who I've worked with on the Project Factory know this already. 3 projects, 4 stages in each of them. They're all going to be the same. How do we organize them? We'll typically organize them like this. So if this is our timeline here, we're working on the blue project in its 4 stages there, and there. We're working on the red project. We're working on the green project. Let's say that's a month per project, 12 months, nothing fancy. We're just using this as a rough model to make the point. So can you see that as soon as we get to this point here, we've now got ourselves 3 projects underway. In other words, those pavers, that weight that we're holding on our shoulders now has a weight of 3. But in your workplace, there's no way you just have 3 projects going on. Think about the concurrent weight we've got, because we're not taking into account the idea of time. We're trying to get them all going at once under the illusion that it's about how much can we carry. But what's relevant at work is how much can we put through. That's what we need to be thinking about. Notice also here that blue finishes over here, red finishes here, and green finishes here. Now let me get rid of that, and I'll draw on the alternate way of doing the project, which is this. Now I know this isn't the real world. The idea is just to explain the concept to you. But do you notice that if we get that same length of time that we were using before, where we said at this point here, we've got 3 projects on the go. If we go to this same length of time, we've got the 1 project on the go. In other words, we're not carrying 3, we're simply standing on 1. And then once we finish that one, we can then move to this one, and then we can then move to this one. Just like McConaughey was saying.
You just handle one, then hop to the next one and handle that.
And look at the benefits we get. Notice here, blue's finished there. Notice here, blue is finished there. Not only is it off our plate, someone's happy because they got their thing. Red finishes there, green still finishes at the same moment, okay? So it's no worse doing it the bottom way. And in reality, green finishes way out here in the real world. But the important thing is we've reduced the level of stress because we're now moving from one to the next laterally instead of trying to walk around holding them all vertically. And remember, this simple model had 3 projects, each of 4 stages. You start dropping in more stages and you start dropping in more color projects, see how very quickly this one goes all the way out to here, all the way out to here. So this blue one here, which finishes after 10 periods, would actually be finishing after 24, and you are now carrying maybe 50 pavers.
Oh, hell no!
Simplified model, I know, but if you think about whenever you are doing some work that's non-operational, if you're trying to do multiple projects at once, you're living in this situation. And when I set up my Project Factory methodology, this works for individuals, for teams, for divisions, and eventually whole organizations. And you don't even need a fancy thing like this. You simply need to make a choice as an executive team or as a leadership team to say, we are going to ship this project next. That is the key word. Not how many things can we get started, not how much weight can we carry, Because time exists, we're going to think of how many we can ship per month, per year. It's about shipping. And by the way, shipping means shipping out of your system, even if it has to go into a holding pattern while you're waiting for someone else to get back to you. The point is, you work on the blue one and you ship it. And if we do this right, we can actually achieve the year's work within the year instead of the usual grinding to a halt. And more importantly, we're skipping along laterally instead of staggering around under the weight vertically, which means we can end up with an organization that is...
All right.
I'll see you next time.